Shalom Laha Alahayim, peace to the gods. Nawathan Kal Halalim La, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash, giving all praises to Yahweh, in the name Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors unto the elder apostles, the elder bishops, and the heads and elders of all the camps of Great Millstone, GMS who do well, who have learned this 100% truth from, who are the true leaders of all Israel, all Yasha Allah, the princes of the power today, whether you can receive that or not. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the Bayath, Dawayad, the house of David, tabernacle of David, the those predestined spirits of election scattered across the four winds of the earth, starting with the 144,000, the governing body in the kingdom to come, 12,000 men, the prophets, all right, of each tribe of Israel, as well as the innumerable multitude scattered abroad outside of the office of a prophet of men, women, and children who believe on the gospel preached by the prophets, rehearsing the righteous acts to the best of their ability, including the 1/3 here in Babylon the Great, which is prophetically America. This is your brother Tazapani of the Great Millstone, Washington, D.C. camp, out of one Ratazah, Lord willing. This quick hit digital epistle is edifying unto the elect. Without further ado, let's just play this quick little 7-minute video, and then we'll get precepts and end it on out.
But Sweden has officially done it while everyone was distracted. This is what they're slowly trying to implement literally into your country as we speak. And this is why everything is happening by design so that they can implement this solution. Just stick around and watch. When Elias Brotberger goes to work, he doesn't need ID and he doesn't need money. In fact, much of what he needs to get through the day is hidden right there, just below the surface, in his hand. Like touch it? Yeah. No? Oh, weird. Yeah, it's like a grain of rice. Grain of rice. Embedded in his hand is a microchip that serves as his keys, his ID, and his wallet. Yeah, it's all on chip. So I use it like to get around the building. Buy snacks. Yeah, exactly. Let's buy some snacks. So I can't open it. No. Okay. So what I need to do is I need to first blip my chip and it will log me in. And from there, I get access to the fridge. In Sweden, the microchips are already here. The microchip implants use the same technology that's in contactless credit cards, which have made cash pretty much obsolete in Sweden. No cash. Process is simple and swift. A pinch of the skin, and in a matter of seconds, the chip is inserted. The transformation is complete. In the future, do you think everyone is going to be chipped? I think it will be voluntary, but I am certainly convinced that millions of people will find it very, very valuable to have a smart device under their skin. When microchipping may be our future, but in Sweden, it's already reality.
Would you get microchips for convenience so you don't have to worry about having an ID card or your keys or passes for public transportation? Is convenience worth it to have a microchip so that you don't have to carry around ID cards or car keys or keys to your apartment or home, or even to have access to public transportation? This is something that's been happening in Sweden since 2015. I'm Rosemary Havsam. I'm back again to let you know that you can take full control of your life by what you choose to put at the end of your fork. So let's get into it. So Sweden decided that people needed convenience, and let's see the data. People said by the thousands in Sweden that they would prefer to not have to carry ID and things in their wallet, making them bulky, keys and transportation cards, all of those things. They thought it would be much easier to be inserted with a microchip that can open doors, that can be used as a bus pass or public transportation pass, or can be used as digital ID. Do you think that might be coming anywhere close to the United States? Well, stay tuned because it's a lot closer than we think. But in Sweden, it was seen as something that could be much more convenient because people didn't like to carry around a lot of things. And it's so much easier to just present your hand where the microchip has been inserted, usually between the thumb and the forefinger. It's usually is easier to present that chip to gain access to wherever you need it wherever you need to go. But what is the fallout from that? What do you think is going to happen when people become very used to convenience and the convenience of not having to carry around ID because they themselves are now digital ID and et cetera and et cetera? What do you think that that's going to do? And who would have control over the coding of those microchips? Well, these are some of the questions that people are coming up with. Sweden is not the first country to microchip people. It actually started back in 1998, where the first documented person to become microchipped was Kevin Warwick. He was a British cybernetics expert. So this was right up his alley. Something to do to find out, well, could he access certain forms and certain pieces of data by swinging his elbow? This microchip enclosed in glass and allowed him to interact with technology just by a wave of his arm, which is where they had implanted it. So it goes back quite a few years as far as the idea of microchipping people. And now we're at the point where people are microchipping their dogs and cats. So it's not something that is completely unfamiliar to us. But microchipping human beings is another step in the direction of, what do you think of control, of centralized control, and maybe removing some of the independence and self-control of people to somebody else's hands, all because of convenience. Not a good idea. Or is it? Is it better to have convenience, or is it better to have individuality and freedoms? People see it both ways. In Sweden, they see it as something that is just a foregone conclusion because it doesn't require any drama or any great debate. It's something that's used just as a part of their lives. Could that come to the United States, or is it here already? That is a question that experts and doubters who are very suspicious of microchipping humans are asking. Now, we do know from some checking right now, we know that the cost of microchipping a human being is between $150 and $200. So why would the American data have that kind of information if microchipping wasn't the next stage as to where we're going with cybersecurity and with convenience and the combination of the two? What do you think? Do you think it's worthwhile to be microchipped? Do you think it's something that is just a conspiracy theory and that people are overblowing it with negativity and suspicions? Or do you think it's something that is something that we should welcome because it's convenient for people? And I will end with my own personal note, and that is sometimes the convenient thing is the very thing that we should avoid. Our brains need to have things that are not just convenient, but that are meaningful and will help our brains grow and develop to whatever age we live to be. So, what do you think? Comment it below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And remember that.
All right, so that's the point. All right, so notice it says this is the African diaspora, which there's no such thing. Okay, when you go into the scriptures, when you look up the word scattered, if I'm not mistaken, it literally says diaspora. Diaspora is a Greek word, and diaspora or diaspora, however you want to pronounce it, was referring to the Israelites. So this is a channel that's trying to say that scattered Africans, and we know Africa was named after the Roman general Scipio Africanus that took over North Africa, specifically Carthage, that Algeria type area. And then eventually it was documented to refer to the whole continent. So, and that was an Edomite man, okay, a so-called white man. So, the only diaspora is those that are the sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob because of the curses, because of us disobeying the commandments. So just throwing that out there. But this is, African Diaspora News Channel, and it's saying Sweden microchips citizens, which is old news. Okay. But the fact that I'm bringing this out is because this is starting to be mainstream now. All right. Mainstream, showing you what type of time we are in. But yet these other camps, while they are going off, in regards to the Gentile, natural born Gentiles being saved, which is completely a wicked, false doctrine. Prophecy is speaking, man. Okay, so the back and forth, we defend the gospel, and then we get right back to prophecy. You know, so then it goes on to say is that is the U.S. next? So I put in my topic the whole earth is next, and not just the U.S. Hashtag MOTB. MOTB stands for you already know. All right, the mark of the beast. Okay, so let's just go get straight to Revelation chapter 13. Like I said, I'm gonna make this quick, just to prove. Matter of fact, now let's start at Revelation 3. Let's start at Revelation 3 first, right? Verse 10. And it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience. So who is this? Well, who's talking? It's Yahweh Shai. Okay, Yahweh Shai is talking, right? And he is referring to those, all right, specifically the church of Philadelphia in verse 7. But we can apply this, okay, to the elect, the hopeful elect, in these modern day times as we're at the last days of the last days. Okay, because Philadelphia means the city of peace. Okay, so no, Salakia, city of peace. It means the city of brotherly love, if I'm not mistaken. All right, because Phila would be like love, right? And Delphia or Delphi, if I'm not mistaken, means city. I would have to go into that. But we can apply that, okay, to those of the hopeful elect, because Yahweh Shah himself said, to love one another, or be in unity, like him and the Father are one, right? So we're supposed to be keeping the word of my patience. Remember, patience is one of the virtues of the spirit, one of the fruits of the spirit, Salakia. All right. And a synonym for patience is long suffering. Okay. So what are we suffering long for? Until the kingdom of heaven comes. And we got to go through much tribulation in order to enter into the kingdom of heaven, as it says in the book of Acts, roughly paraphrasing. Okay. So when it says to keep, meaning you are enduring in this thing. All right. Even Yahweh Shah himself said as well, he that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. All right. And in Timothy, it says that to endure hardness as a good soldier in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. All right. So you've learned this truth. You're supposed to keep the word of this patience. All right. It says, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. Okay. When you look up that word hour, it just says a period of time. So it's going to be a small period of time where people is going to be tempted to do what? Tempted to be disloyal unto the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. Okay. And it says that which shall come upon all the world. And that world is in an oikomany sense when you look up the Greek word, which means the whole earth. All right. And it says to try them. So this is a trial, all right, to test you that dwell upon the earth. You see? So the only ones, all right, to not keep it is the ones that is really, foundated on rock, that rock being Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Okay, as it says in I think it's in Second Corinthians or First Corinthians, if I'm not mistaken. But the point here is that it's not just Sweden, it's not just the US, this is going to be the whole world. The whole world is going to be tempted, so to speak. Why? Because that through the mystery of the Gentiles, which are in this context, Israelite foreigners, all Israelites have been scattered. Notice the diaspora across the four winds of the earth because we disobeyed the commandments pursuant to Deuteronomy chapter 28. So all the world is going to be tried because we're scattered everywhere. All right, and the Lord is trying to see who is going to ride with Him to the end and believe His words, or going to forsake those words and put it behind Him. You see. So the hour of temptation is a global mandate of the MOTB, if you can receive it. Now, when we go to Revelation chapter 13, starting at verse 16, it says, and he causeth all. So notice it says all, but then it gives you more description in order to really understand that he's talking about all, literally. It says both small and great. So don't matter what status you are, whether you know, an insignificant NPC or you're famous, rich and poor. All right, you got bread, all right, or you ain't got a pot to piss in. Free and bond. You see, whether you are able to move around freely, you see what I'm saying? Not tethered to any type of you know, binding contract, so to speak. Um, or you know, you're not locked up. I'll put it that way. And bond. So yeah, people in the prison houses to receive a charagma, because that's where you, when you see that word mark in the Greek, it's charagma, which means an imprinted stamp. All right, and the root word is karax, which is a palisade. All right, a stake, and then the root word of that is akin to grapho, which means to write, where you get the term graphic from. All right. And these are your various applications like you have on your phone, right? You have your wallet, you have your calendar, you have your contacts, you have Instagram, Facebook, whatever. There's going to be various different applications or writings or programs that is downloaded, all right, on this computer chip. It is a computer, all right. It's just as small as a grain of rice. And it says what? In their right hand, you look up that word right hand, it's dextrose, which means your power hand. So it could be your right hand, your left butt cheek, don't matter. All right. The point is that the majority of the people, because of prophecy, how John the Revelator saw this vision that was given from on high, from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, all right, through the angels, you know what I'm saying, the Holy Spirit, if you can understand it, okay, that majority of people was getting it in the right hand, and then it says or in their foreheads. That the Greek word that was translated in the foreheads was metapon. Okay, and notice how Facebook was changed into Meta, and right when they did that, they came out with that Oculus, all right, that goes over your head, all right, which is nothing but a stepping stone to these BCIs, and really the elite or people with, you know, money, they'll according, speaking as a man, they're going to be the ones to get the BCI. BCI is what? Brain computer interface. So your brain is going to be intertwined, all right, with a computer, okay? Just like Elon Musk with his Neuralink right now, okay, and others, because there's more, and this is that whole private public partnership, the government working with corporations in order to push this thing, all right? It says, and that no man might buy or sell. So no type of transactions. You can't open up shop, you feel me? And you can't go to the marketplace without this. Okay. It says, save he, except you, right? Had the charagma or the name of the beast, all right, or the number of his name. Okay. So, you have to one again understand who the beast is. The beast is, all right, the ancient Roman Empire that is now revived, okay, in the understanding of the acronyms NATO and the EU, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization and the European Union. NATO being the military arm, EU being the financial or economic arm, economic bloc, okay? Because the EU was originally called the European Economic Commission, the EEC. Okay, so this and then notice it's the charagma. So NATO and EU is primarily made up of European slash Western civilization countries. So basically, anywhere where Edomites have a stronger influence and have a stronger majority or population living in them lands. Okay. And who rideth the beast? Who rides? Who controls NATO and the EU? America, which is the great whore, which is Mystery Babylon the Great. Okay. Babylon comes from the word Babel. In the Hebrew, it's Babal, which means confusion. Okay. And this kingdom is nothing but confusion. All right. And even now, most scholars is even, agreeing, those that are more into eschatology, about the end times, that America is Babylon the Great. Okay, verse 18, it says, here is wisdom. And remember, wisdom is the principal thing. So you have to understand this. Okay, if you of the elect, you're going to search out a matter. It is the glory of a king to search out a matter. All right, with all thy getting, get understanding. So it goes on to say, let him have understanding. See, count the number of the beast, so to measure it. All right, for it is the number of a man. So this is a man that is talking about. All right, because and it doesn't say a specific man. When you go up and look up that term, man, it could refer to a man or men or as a nation. So this men is talking about the Edomites. Okay, so the Edomites who run the EU, who run NATO, who runs America, which is Babylon. All right, that's their name, so to speak. All right, being revealed, the wicked being revealed, pursuing the Second Thessalonians, and it says, and his number is 603 score and 666, right? So that's what he likes to use. All right. Hence why he purposely put it in the UPC, the Universal Pricing Code, because that is a ledger or a record book, right? Of pricing out and documenting every asset, liability, and commodity on earth. All right. Um, at first on paper, but now it's electronic. Hence your UPC code, as they like to say, right? With the barcode. Okay. So everything is going to have a barcode because it's registered. That's the whole point, where you can look back and see what's what. Okay. Just like how in the ancient days, all right, they would have their scroll, right? And register how many cattle they have, how many sheep they have, so on and so forth. So this is the same thing. Okay, it's like a spiritual census of their slaves. Okay, as in a digital all. So the point here that I'm making is that, you know it's not just the U.S. that's next, but yes, it's coming to the U.S. But the U.S. and this Western civilization, these so-called European men nations, are going to be pushing the MOTB. All right, because it's based upon the Edomite trifecta: blockchain technology, quantum computing, and artificial intelligence. And Putin has already said whoever is the leader in AI is going to be the leader of the new world, ORD to the E to the R. Okay. So, it's not just going to be the Western civilization pushing this, it's going to be every country, because ultimately all these countries are controlled by the international banking families, which are Amalekites, which is the chief tribe of the nation of Edom, so-called white people. The Amalekites are your small hats. They control the banking. They lend to nations and put them in debt. And in Proverbs, it says that the borrower is servant unto the lender. What is a synonymous word for servant or slave? Okay, hence the term central banking. Okay, so she was making all these things and whatever convenience and yeah, but it's about control. Now they will use convenience and things of that nature, but this thing is going to come quickly. And so I'm gonna end off on Habakkuk. Like I said, I didn't want to make this too long. So this is Habakkuk chapter 2 and I start at verse 1. I will stand upon my watch. And that's what we're doing, man. I'm standing up like a man, and the rest of the, the Akim, all right, that is constantly watching for the prophecies, because we have to be knowledgeable of what time that we in. Yahushua even told the Pharisees, you feel me, you able to know when it's about to rain, but you can't discern the signs of the times, roughly paraphrasing. So we know that the kingdom is nigh, all right? And we know if the kingdom is nigh, that means that the prophecies that have to come before the kingdom coming, before Yahushua making his second return through the clouds, the UFOs, with with the angels in array, right behind him, there has to be certain prophecies that come to pass. It says, and set me upon the tower. Okay, so you're set upon the name of the Lord, man. All right, the name of the Lord is a strong tower, as the scriptures say. All right, because if you're If you are founded on Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, you're going to have the spirit of prophecy. The testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy, pursuant of Revelation chapter 19. It says, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, okay, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. Okay, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables. And this video is me writing the vision. All right, in a modern day spiritual sense. Okay, just how they wrote down what the Lord gave unto them then, when the Spirit jumps upon us and we are watching and we're seeing things and filtering it through the scriptures that have to do with prophecy. We make a video and then we publish it, all right, to the sheep out there. Okay, it says, and make it plain upon tables. Yeah, for people to understand. You see, getting the precepts, lining them up, flowing through the spirit. Here we go.
I2 of a YouTube channel.
Here we go again.
Spelled
I knew that was gonna happen.
Victor, SOM from
I'm gonna just put it right here and then keep reading. Salakia. It says that he may run that readeth it. Right. So when you understand these prophecies, or should I say, yeah, understand these prophecies, that's still good. All right, that you will go out and do what is necessary, okay, as one that has resonated with this new song, one that has danced, okay, not one that listens to the song but doesn't put any action behind it. Okay, verse 3, and I'll end up on this. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, and that appointed time is now, man. But at the end it shall speak and not lie. And this is why it is speaking. You having videos of secular people, all right, making videos that the US is coming up next for microchips. You see what I'm saying? To be pushed, man. All right. It says, though it tarry, wait for it. And notice how it says and not lie, because the Lord is not a man that he shall lie, as the scriptures say. Though it tarry means it's taking its time, slowly. It says, though it seems so basically, though it seemed like it's going slow, wait for it. In Lamentations, it says it's a good thing for a man to quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord, man. Okay. So prophecy has to come, but it says what? But because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So it's not going to take its time. It's not going to wait. And as we see, so even this lady said, like, yeah, this thing is coming quickly. It's quicker than we seen. And this is, so you got all these other camps teaching false doctrines when it comes to the MOTB, and even teaching other false doctrines, just false doctrines everywhere, which was prophesied in the scriptures that happened in the last days anyway. You know what I'm saying? But while all that's going on, prophecies being pushed, man. They're set, the infrastructure is set up. We just waiting for that one good crisis to happen, to things, to escalate. And 2026 may be that year. Lord willing, it's that year, man. Because we ready to get up out of here. So with that, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, on to the next one. Shalom.